Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry. And today I'm going to show changing the bearing on the Challenger here. And if you own a Challenger, or you're familiar with the Challenger machine, you'll be looking at it and wondering exactly what have I done to this thing, because it obviously looks different than what you're used to. And what I did, just trying to get the bumper in place here. Anyway, there we go. What I did is I actually put a pad driver for a Vibe or an Orbot on here, and I'll show you how I did that very simply. This is the original pad driver it came with right here. And I thought that was, well, I thought that was pretty cheesy actually. And it turns out that and then it attaches to this cup arrangement, which is attached to the bottom of the machine here. And this is actually the same arrangement as you would see on an Orbot machine, which is, we have one sitting right here. Flip that back. That cup is this cup, and it turns out it's very similar in the way it attaches to the Orbot machine, which is, there's an Orbot right there. There's another Orbot machine right here. Here's a grout brush for an Orbot, and look at that, it's exactly the same thing. So it's got this cup arrangement, and in this case they cut out the whole or center of a actual grout brush from Malish, I guess, and they pop that in place. And that's how their pad driver works for the Orbot machines. And they use this cup arrangement, and here's the race, and I'll show you the difference in a minute. So you can see how easy, I mean really easy it is to convert. If you have a Challenger machine and you want to convert it over to the Vibe or Orbot pad driver, it's easy to do. It just bolts on there, literally with a couple of Allen screws, and I'll show you how. The only difference really is you can see how much thinner this one is. This is fairly heavy. It's also about, I guess it's probably about an inch larger, but it makes no difference. I've already used it with this pad driver. It works perfect. Nice and smooth and everything, but the bearing is a little noisy on this thing. I picked it up a week or so ago. I noticed right away that the bearing was a little bit noisy, so we're going to do a little repair job here, and you can watch how I do this and you'll see how amazingly easy it is. Okay, we'll undo this. There's one screw and two. Three and four. So then what you see now, if you're looking at a normal how the Challenger is normally put together, what you would see once you popped the plywood pad driver off is you would see this thing sitting here, and there'd be 4 screws. You'd undo them and then they pop off, and then you'd see this arrangement. Only the difference is, and I'll show you a bit more when I get there, the difference is see this race, you can see there's a shoulder there here, and so this is this race here, and these screw holes are smaller on the Challenger than this. This is actually the one for the Vibe. That's the secret. This is the one off the Vibe, or the Ruby, the Orbot, whichever. And the only difference is exactly the same size, except it's thicker. Yeah, this is kind of thin, and that's because this shoulder on the cup has to sort of fit over the bearing, as it were. Actually, it does. But this is the way that the Vibe arranged theirs, and so this is for the Vibe and the Orbot, and obviously it works perfectly well. So we're going to change that, and I'm going to show you how you get to the bearing. The counterweight, that is. So what you do is you take your vice grips and you put it up behind onto the motor shaft, and then you use your persuader as your counterweight is off. This is the whole assembly that does the oscillating arrangement. See this, you can see here's where the center hole, or the motor shaft goes in here, and this thing is off center. That's how it works. So now what I have to do is I have to pull the actual bearing assembly off. We've got two Allen screws on the back. There's one. There's two. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the actual counterweight and assembly would. Oh, maybe they wouldn't. I was just thinking that if the one from the Vibe would go on. I think it's actually attached a little bit differently. But anyway, so here's the actual counterweight. That's it. There's the bearing. Now there's a I don't know what we call that, a backing plate. We gotta remember that goes on that side. So here's the bearing, and then there's this part right here, which you see from the other side. So that'll actually come out of there. I can probably do it right here. Oh, maybe not. I'll go over to the. Yeah, I go over to the press and do it over there. You'll come along with me. Well, just trying to think if I think I can do it this way. Having a press is handy, so this is gonna. Oh, ouch! Hit my foot. Anyway, that's out of there. Now I got to get the bearing out. Okay, I can do it this way. Or, let me think. There was another way. How did I do it before? I did it a really fancy way. How did I do it? How did I do this before? Had another bearing, I think. Oh, there's another assembly right there. Yeah, there's my other one. Hey. It's okay. This is the one for the Orbot, and this is where the motor, it attached different with this thread thing, this thread right here. So that's what that's there for. I thought I had another one. Okay, let's see. What have I got? We'll try it this way. Oh, I need it's got to go that way. Ooh, I need another bearing. That's what I need. Let's see. I'm trying to remember how I did this before. I just did it the other day. And it went much easier. Think. Did I do it that way? No, that's not a good idea. Oh, it's moving now. Not much. It's a tight squeeze, which is what you want, actually. Oh, it's moving. Definitely moving. Yep. Oh, here we go. There we go. Okay, bearing is out. New bearing. New bearing. Where to put the new bearing? This is an old bearing. It's a bad bearing. New bearing is over here. Brand new bearing. Okay. So, bearing's going to go in here. And then we use the vise. If you haven't got a vise, you need a vise. Very useful tool, I tell you. Okay. There we go. Make sure that I'm really seated there. I'll put the other bearing on there and make sure it's seated into the bottom. Come back up there. Yep. There we go. Nice and snug. Okay, so now, oh, this has to go on here. So this is the top. Nope. Yes. Okay, hang on a second. Oh, having a brain seizure here. So this one is on the bottom, and that yes, this is on the bottom, and this is on the top. That's right. Okay. I'll put it together. Like that. Popped in place. Alright, you still with me? Alrighty. So this is gonna go like this. And this is gonna sit on there like that. Because that tightens down, that pulls it together. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we're gonna Whoop, tighten this up. This one, of course, goes over here. Whoop. They're all these counterweight type, these OP machines. I've never seen a Trinity. I'd be really interested to see how the Trinity one is done, how much different it is, but I've never had my hands on one of those yet. But anyway, it's interesting how these machines are very similar. I've taken the Oryx apart before, and it's, again, very, very similar. Anyway, so there's the counterweight and the new bearing in place. Piece of cake. Now this is going to thread onto here, like so. And yeah, okay. Oh, right. I was thinking, where did I put my hammer? Right there, where I used it last. Okay, now we'll just tap it on, make sure it's just snug. It's snug. Okay, just detach that. Okay, next step is to put the pad driver in place. You see how easy this is? Pad driver. Okay, and oops, I missed it. Okay, try it again. And it is right there. I can see it. Yeah, one thing I could do is I could put a relief in here, and I may pull it apart. But I'll show you how to put it together first, and then we'll run it. I might take my Dremel and just bore that out a little bit. I never did it in the first place, and it probably could do with that. Anyway, we're gonna put it together just cause. Come on, where'd it go? Oh, it keeps shifting on me here. Okay, we got one in. And there's the second one. Put the third one in. Just double check. Make sure everybody's nice and snug. Okay, now I have to put the velcro plate on there. I didn't have to have it off, but you could easily change them, as you can see. Very easy and simple arrangement with the Vibe setup. That's the thing about the, one of the things that I really noticed in the differences in these machines was that the machine like the Vibe is so well thought out from an engineering point of view compared to the Challenger, which is a very old design that has never been improved upon, I guess you could say. And they could have, you know, obviously they could have changed it over to a updated pad driver, but I mean, it's not a make or break thing. It's just, you know, it's just, they could have done this. Anyway, so now we've got the pad driver on, the counterweight in place, it's ready to roll. I've got a pad sitting here. We'll plunk it on the pad. We'll see what it sounds like. Because it has been a little bit noisy, because that bearing I'd put on there, I replaced the original bearing, but the bearing I put on there actually had been pulled out of another machine, and I knew that it wasn't a perfect bearing. It was working, but it was a bit noisy, so now we've got a brand new bearing. So let's see what we got. Does it sound nice and smooth? Let's find out. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Nice and smooth. It's just the typical noise of the pad sort of makes as it's moving across the floor. It was one other thing about this machine that I found a little bit surprising, and that is when I opened this up, and there's the switch is actually a micro switch. I'm not sure I like the idea of a micro switch, because they're not usually meant for really heavy duty use. But nevertheless, mind you, a micro switch is probably, you know, you could probably pick it up at any electronic parts store anyway, so but anyway, there you go. That's how you change the bearing, and if you want to convert your Challenger over to run with a Vibe pad driver, all you need to do is you could order the race for a Vibe, and just change it out and just screw your pad driver on from the Vibe, and away you go. You saw me do it, and it's so easy. So there you go. So thank you for watching. Have a good day.